That's got a little sweat line on it. Need to get this one back in the wash machine. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Bissell Maple Farms YouTube channel. I am Nate, and you're in my truck. Today's a little different of an episode. Yeah, I don't even know if this episode's going to be made. So we'll see. It kind of depends on the auto dealership. We have a young lady working for us, Brandy. She is a great employee, and she has a 2020 Dodge Ram with less than 60,000 miles. And I guess it needs a new, a new gas tank. It needs a new fuel tank. And here's the interesting thing. So Brandy's a single woman, bought this truck from Classic Auto in Madison, Ohio. And it comes with a 60,000 mile warranty from Dodge, and then from Classic Auto, and then I believe a 100,000 mile warranty from Dodge itself. And apparently the warranty does not include a fuel tank. First of all, I don't think a fuel tank should be going bad in 4 years. That's number one. Yeah, that's just whatever. Like, somebody's gonna have to take care of that. I don't like bullies. I don't like when people buy warranties and think they're protected and it doesn't protect anything. That seems very disingenuous. It seems very, I don't know, like a scheme, right? Hey, you could buy from us, it's safe. There's a warranty and a warranty. Yeah, like I always need a battle to fight, and things are going pretty well at the Maple Farm right now. So I am headed to Madison, Ohio. Brandy is with her daughter, has a little medical procedure to get done today. So she's up at Cleveland Clinic or something, and I'm going to go head to Madison. And the power of YouTube, right? The power of social media. I mean, I've kind of thought through this a little bit, and I'm going to go talk to the service manager, and we're going to go through this. And I know they have multiple locations, and most likely the people at this location can't make this call. So there's probably, 5 vice presidents or something. Somebody in shiny shoes driving a really nice company car around is probably the one I'm going to have to find. They'll probably have shiny shoes on. That's my guess. I don't know. This is just all, what do you call it? This is kind of a correlation. I don't know that this is going to be true, but I think this is probably what's going to happen. And then my time's valuable, so I think probably 4 new tires on top of it would be appropriate for my time. And this video may never get made. They might take care of things, or they might not. I am on their side. However, they are not. But it should not come to this. So Brandy has my back. She's been great for Bissell Maple Farm. And if you're on my team, yep, you're on my team. I'll die for you. I'm not even sure if I'm legally allowed to go in there with a camera. Like, I don't know what the law is, but I don't care. So all I know is if this gets into a legal thing, it's going to bring more attention to a video that I don't think Dodge or Classic Auto want. And I'm pretty sure whoever I'm dealing with, they're just doing their job. They just shovel this stuff. Like, I gotta meet the service manager and talk to him, and he doesn't come up with this. He just shovels it, right? It's not his fault. But they did give Brandy a car to drive. I don't know if she's paying a rental fee, but they're asking her, well, how many miles have you put on it? When are you going to get it back? So her truck's been in the shop since Saturday. It is currently Thursday, and they're worried about getting the Jeep back she's been driving. So that's interesting to me. But this happens with companies. Ownership can get greedy, right? And you can get yourself to the point where you forgot what you're supposed to do. And if your job is to serve the owner instead of the customer, then you need an attitude adjustment. This is something that I think most companies forget sometimes, who they're there for. And if you serve the customer, the owner's going to be fine. But if you serve the owner, the customers end up paying through all sorts of policies that these poor employees have to come up with. Okay, got the lowdown on Classic, how they're structured, and I'm going to head to the store where Brandy bought it, and it's currently having the service done, but it's likely I will have to go up further. We'll see. We'll see, but the issue Brandy's having is when she goes to put fuel in her truck, it clicks off after only a few cents go in. So that sounds like a vapor lock issue at the top of the fuel tank. I don't know why you'd need a full fuel tank. So as I'm looking at this, it's either incompetence or dishonesty. Like, you know, there's really no third option, but I want to give the guy a chance. Like, what's going on here? Like, why do you need a full fuel tank? It sounds like, you know, something's plugged maybe. You know, that vent. So, you know, did you run a stick down through there? You know, something to clean it out maybe? Sounds like something's in there. So, maybe it's a recall. If they're trying to charge for a recall, it's even a bigger problem, but yeah. Listen, if 1 out of every 3 cancer diagnoses is wrong, 1 out of 3. 1 out of every 3 cancer diagnoses is wrong. And, you know, if some very smart medical people can screw up on, you know, cancer diagnosis, which is a pretty serious thing, right? Like putting somebody through chemo when they don't need it, it's a pretty serious thing. I would imagine it's at least equal to that in the automotive repair industry. Like, humans are humans. I'm not saying it has anything to do with brains. I'm saying it has to do with human error. And incentives. I think that could cause some of this, but anyways. Well, it's showtime. So I'm here at the dealer, and these guys they just shovel it. It's not their fault. There's policies. So they were able to knock $200 off here at the store level, and it's a $1,200 repair. $200 doesn't seem like it's very fair. So I don't know any business that operates on a 16.6% gross margin. They offered to do the job at cost, and that's a little deceiving. There's gross margin. I'm willing to bet that their cost is not $200 less than the actual bill they're giving. So I'm gonna head to Mentor and go visit the manager. I don't think a 4-year-old vehicle should need a new gas tank. Call me crazy, but I do not think a 4-year-old vehicle should need a new fuel tank. Is that unreasonable? Do you buy a brand new vehicle and expect to put a fuel tank in it in 4 years? I don't. So, well, let's go to Mentor. Okay, so here's where we're at. They offered to do it at internal cost, which I'm learning is basically what an employee would pay. So they agree that a 4-year-old vehicle should not have a gas tank go bad. A $45,000 truck should not have a gas tank go bad at 50,000 miles. But they're willing to knock $200 off the $1,200 bill. I'm going to go back and pay full price and put this video up because I don't think this is right. So Brandy needs a vehicle. I'm hoping that this gets lots of views and is shared because Dodge has a problem. They're making a defective fuel tank, and in my research, it's the vent is supposed to be upright in order to work, but they actually have it on the side of the tank, so it doesn't vent. That's essentially what is wrong. So I'm gonna call the manager back and tell him to do the work, and then we're gonna make a video. So that's what we're gonna do. So I decided it wouldn't be fair for me to take a discount and then make this video because then it feels dishonest. So I'm gonna go pay the full price. I'll work out an arrangement with Brandy so she can pay me back because it's around Christmas time, and this is not a bill that, you know, you're expecting around Christmas. So we'll help her out, but I'm gonna go pay the full price instead of the discounted price because then I don't feel bad about posting this. So I gave them a shot. I told them this is what I was gonna do, And I just didn't think it'd be right for them to make a profit on a product that was defective. I had no problem with paying for their time, paying for the tank, which probably would have been about $600. But instead, I'm going to pay the full $1,200, and this video is made, and I gave them a shot. And I hate doing this because I hate negative sales, but yeah, I just don't feel, I don't feel that defective parts, a profit should be made. That's not fair. People worry too much about owners' pockets, and they don't worry enough about customers' pockets. And if people worried about their customers' pockets more and their customer than the owners, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Like, the owners would be fine. But this is an adversarial thing, and I try to do the best thing. So anyways, hey, thanks for watching. Share this share this video. Let people know. Classic Auto didn't want to do what was right, and I just don't feel a 4-year-old vehicle with under 60,000 miles should need a fuel tank. And I was willing to help negotiate for the rate, like labor rate, but $160 is not cost. And when they told me internal cost, I thought that meant cost, but what that meant is the cost it would cost an employee. So I guess agree to disagree. Happy to pay cost. Like, that's fair. Everybody's got skin in the game. Not this. All right, paid in full. When you rep a company, you're still responsible. It might not be your fault, but you are still responsible. This whole, it's Dodge's problem, no. I had a bunch of vacuum pumps that didn't perform like they were supposed to, and I bought every one of them back with my own money. I don't even care if I'll be reimbursed, but I did what was right by the customer. And that's how I expect all companies to function. Do what's right. Do what's right. And in the end, if you do what's right, all the business will take care of itself. But yeah, I'm disappointed. But it also makes me realize why you should buy a Tesla. I have been looking for months at buying a Tesla, and I will buy a Tesla. And the primary reason is I want it to drive me around because I think it'll be a safer driver than me. And I think anybody that knows me would attest that it probably would be safer than me. The other reason is parts repair and service. Let's think about this. Brandy has a 4-year-old truck that requires a gas tank to be replaced. That's insane. I have a truck here I'm driving that needed a new transmission twice. And it has nothing to do with the transmission. Apparently it has to do with the computer programming that makes it work. So this is the same transmission that's in a 2500. But the way they do the computer, there's no issues with the 2500 because they don't, the way they run the torque and the speed and transfer the energy from the engine to the transmission, it doesn't harm anything. But in the 1500, the half ton, they actually goes a little bit slower. So I think it has something to do with that V4. I'm not sure, but you could just keep putting transmissions in these 1500s because it's in the computer program. It's not in the transmission. The transmission's fine. So when people say they have bad transmissions, that's not true. And we have one of the best transmission guys probably around here in Ashtabula County, and called Bloods, and he reprogrammed this truck to run properly. He knows more, or is willing to do more than a Chevy or GM dealer, because they're not going to change it. They're probably not authorized to. In fact, it would probably reduce the sales of transmissions if people started reprogramming these things to shift at the right RPM. So I started I've really been on the Tesla kick for a while, and after my transmission, after Brandy's fuel tank, if you think about it, I might have paid $40,000 for this truck, but I've got an extra 10 grand in transmissions, and then I had to put fuel in it, and then I have brakes, and with the brakes on a Tesla, they're regenerative, and I don't really give a crap about anything else with a Tesla other than this system here is broken. The dealers are making the money on the repairs that shouldn't even exist. And it's the same with, Tesla doesn't have dealers. So you're not paying a commission. Like, the whole automotive structure is changing because of Tesla. Tesla's worth more than Chevy, Ford, and Chrysler combined. Think about that. Combined. And the fact that, Elon Musk recently bought recently bought X just so we could have free speech. Like, he did it, he lost money, but he knew that we had to have some media outlet that was like, we're the media now. Like, we report instead of somebody taking information and twisting it. I find that interesting. I guess I support Elon Musk, and that's why I'm going to buy a Tesla. Stainless steel is my favorite color, but that Cybertruck is it's different looking. I really will probably buy another 3/4 ton truck to haul my trailers and stuff, but I do think that I'll probably get like a Model Y to drive back and forth to work, and that's an hour commute each way. I will put chargers at work, and if anybody at work wants to buy an electric vehicle, they'll be able to charge at work. So they're not using, after-tax money to buy gasoline. Do you follow? Like, the whole system, the whole automotive system, is wrong. And I could see licensing needing to be more money for electric cars because, the roads need to be repaired. And if you're using the roads, like, that's fair. If you're not buying gasoline, you should have to pay your fair share. And I get that. So I don't mind registration being more for electric vehicles. I think that's fair. Probably should be higher than it is, but yeah, like this stuff, like the whole system, like everybody that lives in there, think about it. Everybody that worked at Blockbuster Video, it wasn't their fault that Blockbuster Video went down. Like, it wasn't their fault. They were in a system that was destined to break down. One combustion. Now, I'm not anti-engine. I'm not like, I love classic cars. I love all of it. I'm just like anti-wasting time at gas stations. I'm anti like repairs that aren't necessary or shouldn't, happen. Like, think about the complexity of one internal combustion engine. Like, it's more complex than the entire Tesla automobile. Like, they got a battery and 4 motors, or 3 more motors and 4 tires. Like, it's pretty simple. And of course, everybody's got range anxiety and all that, but I'm not worried about that. Everybody that has one seems to be happy that I know, that people that I trust that, I'm on boards with. But why did I pay full price? Well, I paid full price because I wasn't going to take the $200 hush money. That was insulting. They were still going to make a profit on a defective part. I felt that was wrong. I was willing to pay the actual cost, not they said internal cost. That's what they would rip their employees off with. Like, we would charge this to our employees. Like, even your employees are getting ripped off if they have to pay for something they shouldn't. So why would I pay full price? I didn't think it'd be right, like, to take hush money and then like put this out there. So I guess this video really isn't as much about Dodge, Chrysler, Classic Auto, as it is about that system being defunct and corrupt, and just, it's a money grab, and everybody just accepts it, and I'm not. Like, I guess this whole video has become a Tesla commercial. Like, this has made me want to just jump and buy a Tesla. So thank you, Classic Auto. Elon Musk thanks you, because I hope that this video will let people know, like, only 30% of the energy in a gallon of gas actually gets from the rubber to the road. So if you buy a gallon of the gas, you're only getting 30% of the energy out of that gallon. The BTUs, the energy, because the rest is going out your exhaust pipe and heat. And it has to. It'd be like, if you're generating power from a dam, water has to come through or you won't generate power, but that water's all wasted, right? You can't just dam it up or you won't generate energy. You actually have to let the water through. And it's kind of a similar thing with a internal combustion engine, is it has to exhaust or you won't get, the crankshaft won't turn, the piston won't move down on the rod, turn the crankshaft. So in general, the internal combustion engine is just inefficient. And I've heard about some Formula One race cars where they've tried to make a perfectly efficient engine, but it would only last like 20 minutes or something. So it's just not really possible. So my dad being an electrical engineer and kind of learning about motors and the torque and three-phase, this is just the beginning. And then having these forklifts in our facility where, you can plug these things in and they just go. And you can do a lot of work with, and that's old technology. That's we put water in those batteries. It's old school. So as the battery technology gets better, I just think vehicles are going to get more and more efficient. It's like TVs. If you don't think battery technology is going to get better, look at the price of a flat screen and what you paid 10 years ago. An LED. I bought a TV 10 years ago. I'm sure it was $3 or $4 grand, maybe $5 grand. And that TV today is $600. So this isn't Jim's fault, the service manager. They're just in a system that's broken. I guess you could say I wasn't reasonable, but I just don't think that a dealership with a service group should make money on someone's misfortune. That part was defective. Fine, you diagnosed it. It's got a problem. You can't put basically Brandy couldn't put fuel in it. It would shut off because of this vent, and okay, fine. You get let's just how acceptable is it that a gas tank fails after 4 years and 50,000 miles? It's not. But I understand they're running a business. But I'll pay for the tank. I'll pay for the labor. I'll even pay for the burden labor of their FICA, whatever it costs you to have an employee, because it's not actually the wages, because you got to match their tax and stuff like that. I felt that was pretty fair. I would have paid the $600, and it would have saved Brandy about $600 because the bill's around $1,200. I felt that was fair, but I'm not going to take the hush money. This video is more about the system being corrupt than it is not corrupt. It's going to get Netflixed. I don't know. Everybody accepts it as acceptable. It's just not. So, you got a female that went in and bought a truck. Warranty. I'm sure the sales reps were letting her know that it was warranted. You don't have to worry about nothing. I'm sure. I'm sure that's what she heard, even though that's not actually the case. So if you've had issues like this, where you've had a bad experience with an automobile that you've had to have, fixed, that you don't feel would have been, put a comment down. I am really curious about, other people. I've had to put 2 transmissions in this because of how the computer shifts. And finally, I went to Bloods, and he's like, hey, I can put a transmission in it, but if I don't change the computer program, I'm not going to warrant this thing. So he basically said he'll give me 2 years because he changed the computer program. Now I'm losing some MPGs, but the problem's fixed, which is the computer in it. But yeah, a gas tank that doesn't let you put gas in it after 4 years, that's insane. I'm still fired up. $200 of hush money. $200. Now Jim said something on the phone. He said, I said, Jim, I'm going to pay the full price for this because I don't think taking a discount and then making a video would be fair. And he said, don't threaten me. He saw that as a threat. I would have negotiated. I would have paid the cost, but they used the word internal cost, which is confusing to me because all that is a fake cost. They can still make money on their own employees. Cost is cost. If you're using a labor rate of $180 an hour, I get it. There's no way that the mechanics, even if you discount it to 160, are making $160 an hour. I would have probably accepted $100 and said, yeah, I could see it being $100 if you're paying them $50 an hour and you got all this overhead. I'm reasonable. But I remember one time, he made the right. I could understand why he would think it's a threat, and I guess it kind of was. So Jim, I do apologize if I came across as a threat. It was more of
I'm letting you know you're gonna wish you would have done it. It was more of a, I give you one more chance, dude. Like, the people who threaten are never the ones that follow through. Like, that's the truth. Like, the people who always say they're gonna sue you, they aren't. It's, yeah, I wasn't threatening. I was making a promise.